I grew up in a household where I was sexually abused by my older sister. And when I was an older teenager, I was groomed and taken advantage of by a female youth minister at the Catholic youth group that I went to. A few years ago, right after I graduated, my mother died suddenly. My dad got sick, and I had to take care of my dad and all my brothers and sisters, including the sister who abused me, moving to a different city and working to provide for my family financially. It's about 4 years later now. I'm 24. My family is stable, so I don't have to work and sacrifice the way that I did. And I've recently felt on my heart the call to marriage. And I wanted to ask Jason and Crystalina, I've been aware of and involved with your ministries in some capacity for many, many years now. I've really appreciated you and your I've really appreciated you and all of your ministry. And I wanted to ask Crystalina, how do you learn to trust the opposite gender when you've been hurt by them?
First of all, thank you for your honesty and your vulnerability and your courage, Gabriel, for just even coming on and asking that question. And you've been through a lot, but it seems like God has been with you, and God's grace and his healing power is also with you. It was really difficult for me because just like you, I was sexually abused, and it really, it rocks the core of who you are and who you think you can be or what you're capable of. And it almost puts a cap on what you think you can have in life and how much love you think you deserve or don't deserve. It's really a cage. But it took a lot of healing, and it took a lot of time to be with Jesus in the Eucharist. And I became incredibly Eucharistic. And Jesus is the healer. He is the light. He's love. He's mercy. And you need to take everything to him. Stay close to the sacraments. And there are a couple things. Actually, when we dropped our kids off at college, I had a really serious, like, mama convo, I like to call them. When I talk about conversations, this is a convo. And they know when I say that, I mean business. And I think this goes for anybody that's going through a lot or discerning, or they're not sure what to do, or they're being called in a certain direction, is go to confession and make sure you're staying in confession, and just make sure you're right with God and being just pure and kind of opening those lines to his grace is a huge thing. The second thing is, after that, go sit with him in adoration and take all of these things on your heart, your fears, your worries, your concerns, your family, everything, and really talk to him about, if you're ready, your hopes for the future, all of it. Just give it to Jesus. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't hear God. And I say, well, I don't believe you, because in the depths, and I've said this numerous times on this podcast, in the pit of hell that I had myself in, if I was drunk or high or I was at a bar or whatever was going on, I still heard God's voice saying, don't do that. Don't go there. Don't wear that. You still hear him, but it's really a matter of obedience, right? If you really actually want to do it. And most people don't. So they just keep doing what they're doing. And I would say it took a lot of time in adoration for God himself to actually heal me, because I couldn't even see Jesus as a man. I would have nothing to do with him. I'd see him on the cross and just, he was a man. I was kind of disgusted, to be honest, because of things that happened to me because of a man hurting me. And so it was Eucharistic Jesus. I was able to get over that, and slowly in adoration and with my own healing, and just staying incredibly close to the sacraments and making sure I was going to counseling, which I think is huge, and especially your own healing for your future family and your wife. Just go to adoration and make it a weekly thing if you can. And it's going to change your life. And if you're ever confused in a situation, it's another thing I told my kids. If you ever just aren't getting an answer, or there's something you're really struggling with, or there's just some stronghold or something that's just there, won't go away, you need to fast. and you need to just take it seriously and just fast, and God will give you the grace, he'll give you the knowledge, or he'll give you something to help you or break that stronghold. Because, I mean, that's exactly what Jesus told us. There are certain things that just can't be broken or can't be overcome, or demons cannot be cast out without prayer and fasting. So I would also fast for that as well, because I think there might be some bondage there, like I had. Maybe I might just be assuming this, Gabriel, but when it comes to these things, there's a lot of fear surrounding it, and you can live out of that wound of fear, and you don't want that, because Jesus tells us, like, directly and straight up, do not fear. And so when there is fear, that's where you bring Jesus' light. And the closer you get to Jesus, the devil cannot follow you to the light, and you'll have more clarity. So go to Jesus. I'm telling you, it's the most powerful thing that you can do, is to be in the will of God, to go be in his presence. And maybe you just sit there and nothing happens. But I would really encourage you to get a counselor, and then go to adoration right after that, and just kind of sift through these things. Does that help?
Yeah, I'd heard it once said that trauma isn't simply suffering something. Trauma is suffering something in the lack of the presence of an empathetic witness, meaning you go through it and then no one is there to validate the suffering. And what that often leads to is we don't even validate it, in the sense that, yeah, there's that suffering, there's that loss, there's that grief, there's that injury, but I don't need to go back there. I don't need to live my life in the rearview mirror. I'm just going to plow forward. I'm going to keep busy. I'm going to be productive. I'm going to do this or do that. Or just we're going to find some false consolations. We just don't need to be in that place. But I think in order to move forward, you have to have a safe spot where you can grieve the loss of who that youth minister was supposed to be for you, of leading you towards innocence, to grieve the loss of authentic sisterhood that you were deprived of, to grieve the loss of your own mother, to be able to do that in a safe place. That's why a good counselor could maybe say, hey, I think there may be some PTSD stuff going on here, where you had this trauma, and then it's getting triggered by these events where you're feeling like, I'm not safe in this place, or I can't be safe with a wife. But it's really taking the trauma from the past and making it present. A good counselor could say, hey, maybe EMDR would be good, where we can kind of go back to those old memories and kind of reprocess the way that your mind thinks of that trauma. And so just to make sure, I think it's a real gift to yourself, to your future wife, if God's calling you to marriage, to find a good therapist. CatholicTherapist.com has a pretty exhaustive list, zip code by zip code nationwide. Now, we obviously can't endorse every single person that's on that website, but it tends to be a pretty good directory of finding decent Catholic therapists that can help you in that process. So that'll give you the opportunity to authentically go back to those places, to grieve the loss as they need to, and realize that just because my past looks like that, it doesn't cripple you from the ability to have a loving and trusting and intimate relationship. Because the whole point of getting through that trauma and through that counseling is for the sake of communion, for the sake of intimacy, to be able to have that love. And if you can know, hey, that's the goal. The goal isn't just to heal it, that it's done, that it quit bothering me. The goal is intimacy. The goal is communion. And counseling is simply the means to be able to give and receive that love.
Have you gone to counseling already? I'm assuming because of what you've experienced and you're already 24. Have you experienced counseling yet, or no?
I have been to counseling, yeah. I'm not currently in counseling, but I've been. There's a couple of periods of a couple of years at different times.
Okay.
Also, go ahead.
Yeah, and I also really have found in faith in a consecration to the Blessed Virgin.
Yeah.
And I consecrated myself to Mary about almost exactly a year before my mom died.
Was it the St. Louis de Montfort consecration?
Yeah.
Yeah. Join the club, baby. We're in the club.
Got my kid right here.
Good for you.
That one, Father Mike Gately has a good one, 33 Days of Morning Glory.
So
and then
powerful.
One I discovered, I think the author's name is Joshua Elsner, I think is his name. And that one's more of just building that personal, intimate relationship with Mary. Just because Crystal talked about how there was a blockade between her and Christ because it was a man that did those things to her, and so it's kind of hard. So the fact that you're able to entrust yourself to Our Lady and to build that healthy maternal relationship and have her as a sister in Christ, I think that's going to go a long way to healing some of these wounds as well.
Father
Yeah,
Pine
yeah.
also has a Marian consecration that I really liked. I found really helpful.
Who?
Father Gregory Pine.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
No.
Gabriel, one thing I do want to ask that I think could be a serious danger, and I'm just going to say it might be harsh, but I don't know how much healing your family has undergone, but if they have not, and you've gone through so much, especially, I don't know, with your sister, to think about when you do get married or you have a family, you're going to have to protect your family from those family members. Is that something you've thought about?
Over the past couple of years, I did not want to have anything to do. After I was an adult and my sister had just gotten married, and I didn't want to have anything to do with her at all anymore. And then my mother died, and I had to be the head of the house, head of the family, and so I couldn't not communicate with her. I had to make sure she was able to get to the funeral stuff.
Yeah.
And be a part of my dad's life, my rest of my family's life, because she had just had a baby, right? So that's my dad's grandchild and my niece, and right. So
yeah,
it was a real. I think one of the things that's really is a real struggle, but also healing for me over the past few years is after my consecration to Mary, I felt like being put in the position that I was, that I have to take care of my family, puts me in a position of being able to make sure my family is protected. Like that I know what I'm doing. I know what my family structures look like, and I can give some direction, and I feel like the work that I've had to do over the past number of years has done a lot for healing me and putting me in a position of control over my own life through my dependence on the Lord.
Yeah. Well, God bless you for all the hard work that you've put into that whole effort. I know God's going to make it bear great fruit. Just stay on track. And if you feel the need to get back to counseling, don't hesitate to do that. And again, also just thank you for your support through Patreon and supporting this mission so we can help get the message out to more people as well.
Gabriel, one thing and one resource that was huge in my life and almost brought me to the next level of my healing that I did was something called Grief to Grace. And that was life-changing for me. It absolutely was life-changing to me with my relationships, my spirituality. It just really was able to heal those really deep wounds of almost like residue. I felt like it was that I just couldn't get past no matter what I was doing. And Bishop Olmsted really encouraged me to do this, and I trust him so much. And I went, and it was, like I said, absolutely life-changing. So Grief to Grace, if you could go on one of those retreats at some point, it's a 5-day intensive retreat, but it's like you go in one person and you come out the other, and it is life-changing. So I would really encourage you to do one of those before you set out and you start dating someone.
Thank you so much, guys, for your ministry and the conversation here today.
Thank you, Gabriel. God bless you. We'll be praying for you.
Hey, if you enjoyed that clip, I'd encourage you to please like, subscribe, share, comment. That helps show it to more people. And then also submit your question at the email live@chastity.com, or submit your question or call in through our Discord server so we can talk to you in person on our next show.